Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It is wonderful to see you all here on the screen for the Winter 2020 Global Town Hall. I appreciate you being here, no matter what time of day it is where you are. I hope this finds you well and that you and your families are in good health. I also want to begin by congratulating everyone on the team for the collaboration that you all showed in getting us to the end of the semester. We deserve a round of applause for that. Whether you were working with international students spread out all around the world trying to get here but unable to do so, whether you were working with faculty who had stalled or ongoing research projects that they were keen to continue, whether you were working to attract students to summer programs or as matriculated students at Notre Dame, whether you were pivoting to new projects and new teams that you'd never worked with before within the NDI network and experimenting in what the future could hold, whether you were attracting future students to study abroad, or whether you were keeping our global gateways and centers operating, you all bore witness to the presence that Notre Dame has around the world. And I want to salute you for that and celebrate that together this morning. And that's what we're going to do as we share our news items. Let me go through the agenda that we have today. As you will recall, we will begin with headlines, which will be presented by our colleagues all around the world. We'll then move to the features section. Here we'll highlight and share various initiatives and projects that people are working on together. After that, we move to the Insider, which celebrates personal and professional milestones. And finally, we'll conclude the Global Town Hall on a high note, recognizing the work of our colleagues around the world. So let us start this festive and holiday celebration with our live headlines. We will open it to teams on campus and around the world, and we're going to start with Reagan in the Beijing Global Gateway. Joya will stop sharing the presentation so we can actually see the speakers in real time. Reagan will pop up momentarily. There is his voice.
Good evening, NDI. Reagan Lee reporting from Beijing. This semester, 56 students are studying away locally in China, and 50 of them are in Beijing. The Gateway organized a welcome party at the beginning of the semester for the parents of the first-year students, with the financial support from Notre Dame Beijing Parents Association. We also organized a game watch and a social gathering for the students, and have provided logistical support throughout the semester. The Gateway also launched the Professional Development and Ethics program for all the international undergraduate students who couldn't arrive on campus this semester, and has so far organized 2 virtual events on the topic. We have just started NDI's VGP program in China for the winter session, with 21 students placed in 8 organizations. That's all for Beijing. Now let's hear from Dublin.
Hello, NDI. This is Dublin calling. Thank you, Reagan. And now our stories from Dublin. DGG partnered with the Notre Dame Newman Center at University Church to produce a reflection on John Henry Newman's 1 year of sainthood. This 4-part series explored the relevance of Newman's seminal work, The Idea of the University, and examined the landscape of secondary and college-level education with panelists that ranged from archbishops to university presidents, from teachers to students. The series had over 700 participants follow along for the 3-week program, and the Mass celebrating the 1-year anniversary of Newman's canonization was the most watched event produced and broadcast by University Church this year. DGG launches new interdisciplinary and undergraduate research programs for winter term. In partnership with the Nanovic Institute and European Movement Ireland, a team of undergraduate researchers from a variety of majors and classes at Notre Dame will be working to produce a report on the state of civility and discourse in Europe from the perspectives of political engagement, corporate practice, and civil law. Another team is researching the perennially relevant questions of repatriation of art and historical ownership. The Gateway has also taken on thesis direction for seniors working on Irish studies related topics. And now I will pass it off to Victoria in Jerusalem for a live update.
You're muted, Victoria.
Thank you, Robert. Hi, everyone. I'm very pleased to be with you all today. I'm Victoria Azrak, the Executive Assistant at Tantour Jerusalem. I'd like to take a few moments to speak about our latest highlights. First, I'm excited to inform you that we, in conjunction with the Tantur Economical Institute, are organizing and hosting an economical event that brings together the heads of the Christian religions in Israel on the 21st of December 2020. And we are thrilled of the attendance of the President of the State of Israel, the Honorable Reuven Rivlin. Second, the study abroad team has done the amazing, opening up our study abroad program to non-ND students starting next fall. Third, we continue to offer a language course for US American diplomats. The State Department just informed us that they are keen to continue working with us also for next year. Let me end on a final note by welcoming Father Jean-Paul, the new rector of the Tantur Economical Institute. Thank you. I will now pass it off to Kailamar for a live update.
Thanks, Victoria. Here's a live update from Kylemore. This semester, we have been welcoming pre-college students virtually to Kylemore, and we welcome them in joining along and sharing the spirit of cooking and preparing food together, and that has continued for a number of weeks. We were also happy yesterday to share in the centenary celebrations of our esteemed partners in Kylemore, the Benedictine nuns. They are 100 years present in Kylemore as stewards of the estate, and we facilitated the live streaming of a mass, which was accessible online to the Notre Dame community. Yesterday also saw us hold the second of our leadership webinars on the topic of building resilience in our organization. Moderated by Lisa Caulfield, we welcomed Professor Sam Miller and Pete Delisle from Mendoza Business School. And we hope to continue these leadership webinars in the new year with the hope of having an in-person program at Kylemore in the summer of 2021 on the topic of foresight in organizations. Finally, this festive season, we have been working with Think ND to host the Kylemore Book Club on the topic of an Irish Christmas at Kylemore. Week 2 continues this evening around the topic of fairy tales, where we will reimagine and reassess narratives and use the holidays as a time of reflection and renewal. That's the update from Kylemore, and now I'll pass it on to Gemma in London.
Thanks, John, and hello from London, everyone. Here, the whole staff has been engaged in identifying new projects to work on and making the most of our collective resources, and some of the teams have already been launched. These projects cover a wide range of areas, including curriculum development, faculty and student engagement, digital programming, internships, and partnerships and outreach. We have also been working hard to provide our faculty with new opportunities in the absence of study abroad. And we're very glad to report our faculty will teach 5 courses remotely during winter session, and in spring we'll have 9 undergraduate and 7 law remote courses offered. We will also once again participate in the Global Scholars Program, which has been such a success this past fall, engaging a new generation of hopefully future ND students. We will also continue to engage existing students remotely through virtual GPE internships during the winter and virtual externships for the law students during spring. On the event side of things, following the success of the inaugural London Book Club, Hitchcock in London with Susan Omer, faculty member Ian Newman is continuing the series with London in Song. The London Law Programme has also recently completed a successful programme of Spotlight Lecture Series, featuring London Law faculty on a variety of important current issues. That's all from London, so let's hear from Mexico now.
Thank you, Gemma. Greetings from the Mexico Global Center. We are pleased to let you know that we accomplished several goals during the fall semester. Among them, we have strengthened the relationship with several Mexican universities and institutions. We have also contacted alumni from the Mexico Study Abroad program, and some of them have shared reflections about their participation in the Study Abroad program and how it impacted their professional and personal lives. You can find those reflections at the Mexico City ND news stories. We will post new ones over the coming months. Separately, we have partnered with the law school to host an event on the state of human rights in Mexico on January 27. Paolo Carosa will moderate the conversation among 4 ND alumni currently working in the field. Next up, Mumbai.
Gracias, Lisette, and namaste from Mumbai. We have an exciting winter term and spring semester coming up here in Mumbai. 17 students have been placed in 7 VGP locations in India and Australia. And we are also preparing for the second edition of the Mumbai studio in partnership with the School of Architecture. This means we will have 28 students virtually visiting India this December and January. Spring 2021 will also be action-packed with 14 of the Mumbai Global Center's research engagement and academic learning lectures, also known as the real lectures, interspersed through the semester. We will also kick off Project Sampurna, a 4-year project in India led by Notre Dame's Global Center for the Development of the Whole Child, working with the Telangana Social Welfare Residential Education Institutions, a group of 270 residential schools in the rural state of Telangana. Mumbai Global Center is going to be actively involved in the execution of this project. And while I have everyone's eyes on me, Merry Christmas to all of you. In Poya Roma, onwards to Rome.
Hi everyone, I'm Simone De Cristofaris, receptionist handyman here in Rome. We have 4 updates to share with you. RGG has opened 2 5+1 postdoctoral positions in collaboration with the Center for Italian Study, one an internship in international education, and the other a teaching position in the foundational course All Roads Lead to Rome team. We'll be launching a book club in collaboration with Alumni Association and Center for Italian Studies. There will be 2 series. The first one will start on January 13th and will be on Dante. Second one will start on March and will be on sacred music. We had the opportunity to record the video lessons and documentary in the beautiful Basilica di San Clemente. This will be the first video production in English in this important basilica, thanks to our faculty Chiara Sbordoni and Ingrid Roland. Rome is participating in the winter BGPE with 7 positions. As on fall, we will make virtual internship opportunities available also into the spring. Thanks to the NDI team for VGPE program and for listening to these updates from Rome. Santiago, you up next.
Hi, everybody. So here in Santiago, we're really happy because last week we co-hosted a virtual conference on diversity and inclusion in the classroom for over 600 people, which is something really good for us. At the same time, we've been working hard on an initiative that will allow Chilean students to attend Notre Dame as part of a study abroad program. Those will be students who come from underprivileged contexts, and that is something that aligns very well with our principles and Notre Dame's vision as well. We're also very, very happy to be able to host 7 VGP students here with our partners at the Santiago Global Center. We're really happy about that too. And lastly, we're really happy about the initiative that we're running on the first ever summer program that opened its application process a couple of months ago. And now we're really happy to welcome the first cohort of students for the summer 2021. So now we will get a live update from our colleagues in Sao Paulo.
Bom dia, boa tarde. I'm Emily Kemp, Assistant Director of the Sao Paulo Global Center. Here in Sao Paulo, we've helped deferred and winter break students find internships and GPE opportunities. We've also held a successful panel, The Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic on Brazil's Basic Education, featuring 2 rising stars on the Brazil education reform scene, a congresswoman and one of our own, an ND alum who leads an education NGO. Next up, we'll hear from different campus teams, starting with Study Abroad.
Brigitte, you're muted.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Study Abroad team, I'm happy to share our updates. First, as many of you are aware, we are now offering the very first virtual internship program, VGPE, during the winter session from the comfort of their own home. With the help of our gateways and centers, about 100 students will have the opportunity to connect to many organizations around the world. Second, we are excited to share that we have a few new programs for both semester and summer. The summer will add a 6-week Santiago, Chile program hosted at the Santiago Center in partnership with the Romance Languages. We will also have a 5-week program in Beijing, China, hosted at the Gateway. This program is led by 2 faculty from the Keough School of Global Affairs. For semester programs, we have 3 new exchanges in Mumbai, India, Stellenbosch, South Africa, and Shenzhen, China. Finally, we are excited to announce that our London and Jerusalem gateways have been approved to accept non-Notre Dame students. The study abroad team is now working with the gateways and other offices to set up the process. The global engagement team is up next. They also have a quick update from HR. Thank you.
Good morning and happy holidays, everybody. The Global Engagement team is excited to announce a number of new and exciting programs for the upcoming year. We will be offering our traditional summer programs, IELTS and iSure, again next summer, and are also excited to welcome 15 new ASAP and exchange students in the spring semester. In addition, we have signed a brand new exchange agreement with Tel Aviv University, and we're planning to offer 2 virtual customized programs in the spring semester for students at our partner institutions in China and Japan. The first offering is an American Studies and Business program, and the second course focuses on data science and machine learning. Lastly, we're excited to announce that the Global Engagement team will be offering an international summer session for international students to take courses for credit during the summer. We are finalizing faculty appointments for the international summer session these days, and we hope to open this program for applicants before the holiday. Before we move on with updates from our colleagues across the NDI network, I also have an HR-related update to share. Sponsored by the Office of Human Resources, ND offers a number of employee resource groups that support networking and provide social outlets, as well as assist the university with recruitment, retention, and educational activities. We will be offering a virtual info session on January 14th with representatives from our employee resource groups, or short ERGs. Many of them have shifted to offering a number of virtual activities that are also open to colleagues from across the globe. In addition, as some of you may know, I'm currently serving as the president of our ERG, Notre Dame Staff of International Descent, or short NDCID, and we welcome you to join our group and contribute your feedback and ideas for events and activities through our NDI-NDCID collaboration project, which I've already submitted on the project board. Now let's hear from Ops and Com.
Hi, Jamie from Ops and Cons here to bring you an important update. To keep students, faculty, and staff safe, healthy, and informed while on university-sponsored travel abroad, Notre Dame has partnered with International SOS, the world's leading international travel and safety assistance company. International SOS will provide medical and security information and expertise 24/7 before and while abroad to help safeguard our travelers' health and security. International SOS also employs a travel tracker and mass alert notification system we will use to communicate with travelers in emergency situations. We've recently completed our program implementation and will be hosting 2 open house sessions about International SOS next week before the holiday break. So please look out for those invites in your email inbox. In the meantime, I encourage you to visit the travel and safety page of the NDI website to learn more about International SOS and when to use their services. And finally, the faculty and partnership team will finish out the headline portion of the Global Town Hall.
Thank you, Jamie. Today, I'm going to highlight 3 areas of our recent team achievements. First, we've been innovating new teaching and learning pathways for ND students and global learners. Jonathan leads the Global Certificate Project team that works with ND learning and pre-college programs on developing and testing prototypes and building blocks for NDI's global certificates. Jonathan also engaged the gateways and centers in working with international partners to offer over 100 virtual GPE positions. Second, we're creative in engaging global partners virtually. Catherine has organized virtual delegation visits from the Durham University in England, the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences, and PUC Chile, and virtual meetings with the Latin American and Caribbean Advisory Council. Third, we continue to develop faculty research programs while documenting and evaluating the existing ones. Jer and Jonathan worked with faculty in chemistry, biochemistry, and the Canop Center to submit a grant proposal to the National Science Foundation. Jer is also working on an annual report on research activities in 1920 academic year. This is the end of the headline section. Thank you very much for being with us. Now I'll give the virtual floor back to Michael.
Thanks, Miranda. And thank you to everyone who presented the headlines from around the world. The work that you all shared is really a testament to many qualities that are hallmarks of NDI. our creativity, our innovative spirit, our flexibility, and our ability to be committed to our faculty and students. It's really quite extraordinary when you hear the sweep and breadth and depth of content that all of us are working on a variety of programs, from data science to Dante, from political discourse to diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's quite extraordinary what we are all doing to advance Notre Dame's international efforts. So I commend everyone for your time and energy on this work. Let's now turn to the features section. First up in features this quarter is Sam Juarez from the Study Abroad team. She will give us an inside look into the making of NDI's first podcast.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone. In July, the Study Abroad team came together to brainstorm new initiatives to reach students during the unprecedented times of COVID-19. We made it our mission to provide students with a new platform to share their study abroad stories. A new Study Abroad podcast called Beyond Study Abroad has since launched 7 episodes. The following video will give you a small insight into the making of the podcast and take you behind the scenes of this new initiative spearheaded by our podcast working group.
Hey, I was just calling to talk about the Study Abroad retreat next week.
We're supposed to brainstorm innovative ideas to reach students, right?
Yeah, maybe we can do some sort of webinar or online lecture series. What do you think about that?
That's a great idea, but do you think everyone's going to be Zoomed out?
Yeah, you're right. I've been talking to some students lately, and they still want to hear about study abroad despite it being canceled. One international student runs his own podcast.
A podcast? Why don't we do that?
3, 2, 1. And we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Beyond Study Abroad podcast, Notre Dame Study Abroad's official podcast. This is your host, Sophia Perez. We're so excited for another episode.
One of the aspects of this project we cared most about was ensuring that the podcast had significant student input, so we decided to search for a student host. We searched for an enthusiastic student with a passion for international education. As a result of these efforts, in October 2020, the team launched the student-led podcast Beyond Study Abroad with Notre Dame senior Sophia Perez.
For our listeners, Michael and I are actually meeting for the first time right now over Zoom. So we have this short little 10-minute teaser episode to try to answer some questions, to introduce ourselves, and answer the questions for our podcast listeners.
I'm glad that I ultimately made the decision, yes, and are you glad you did too?
Oh my gosh, of course. It was the best decision I ever made.
I never thought I'd go. I had to do all these things that I never would have done, even if I had gone on my own.
We know there are complications and there are concerns and there are barriers that you're all afraid of, but we're doing our very best to help you overcome those. So I think that's really meaningful for students to hear.
The main line of advice that I'd have is to be flexible.
Your voice is powerful. I didn't realize that the power, I've always talked about the power in small moments. And you don't really realize that until you're looking at someone else and you're like, wow, what you just said really touched me.
So we kind of grew up like knowing that we wanted to go abroad.
I remember sitting there on a beautiful day and thinking, okay, if I could go anywhere, don't worry about the classes, don't worry about the language, where would I want to go? And that was always France for me.
Like, I ate a lot of good food. That's one of my big things.
Oh, you know what? We should probably not put that in the podcast. That story is going to be a little too crazy for us.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. I'm Sophia Perez, and this is Beyond Study Abroad.
Thanks again for your support. We hope you will subscribe to the podcast. Coming up next, we're going to highlight all of the wonderful virtual events across the global network that have taken place over the past few months. We will then take a few minutes to point out all of the great features available on the NDI portal. Enjoy. Thanks all.
Hey guys, it's Allie here. The communications team has been hard at work creating a portal for NDI staff to access resources and tools. The portal launched just a few weeks ago, but today we're going to dive into some of the highlights of the portal. Let's check it out. First, let's look at the org charts under the General Resources page, right here. Here you can see NDI's structure by viewing both internal and external charts. Here's a peek at the Leadership and Faculty Engagement Team chart. Additional org charts will be added as they're developed. 2. Let's check out the NDI Global Calendar, also found on the General Resources page. This calendar shows national holidays across the global network and NDI internal events. Have an event you want featured on the calendar? Reach out to the contact at your location. Behind door number 3, it's the communications page. Here you'll find all sorts of downloads, resources, and ways to connect with the communications team. You'll see several ways in which you can use and access your logo for social media and merchandise. While here, make sure to download templates for presentations. Next, let's head to event planning, where you'll find the virtual event toolkit. This highly anticipated toolkit streamlines the process of all the virtual events and content being created across the global network. By submitting your event, we help you plan and ultimately execute your digital programming. And last but not least, we want to direct your attention to the finance portion of the portal. This is a new edition, and we're so excited to be able to offer more finance resources and answer general questions. Here, you'll find things like NDI spending guidelines and university travel policy. I hope this gets you excited about all the resources available to you. That's a wrap for me. Right now, we're going to do a deeper dive into another really cool feature of the portal, the project board. Let's check it out.
Welcome to the Project Board, a space to connect and work with our NDI colleagues throughout the world. Join teams beyond your location and work on new projects that are of interest to you, develop new ideas, and ultimately enable new ways of working together.
As a very small team, the project board is an invaluable resource for us. We simply don't have all the skills needed or even the bandwidth to advance some projects. It's super easy. All you have to do is fill out a quick form and the project is posted. Plus, it's a great chance to get to know each other and to learn more about what's happening at other gateways and centers.
Within the NDI portal, I submitted a project to connect with colleagues from across the unit. The project pertained to anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Having colleagues from around the world contribute to this project is both beneficial and necessary, that is made stronger with contributions from the entire NDI unit. It was a really easy process to submit the project, and I'm really looking forward to getting started.
Log into the portal using your Net ID. Click on the link Connecting NDI on the left-hand column. Scroll down to the Project Board section. To contribute an expertise or project, click on the Project Listing button to review a list of open projects. To register a project and to find a team of people to join you, return to the main page Connecting NDI. Scroll down to the project board and click on the Submit a Project button. Complete the form. This will be posted live on the project listing page.
We hope that you will join in this new initiative, contribute to innovative project ideas, and help strengthen our global network. Let's go further, together, as one NDI.
I hope that you get a chance to check out all of these valuable resources. It's important to note that many of the projects that you've seen in these last segments that have been narrated by Ali and Sam and others on the team have come directly from your ideas about how we can make NDI better. For example, the org charts were created as a recommendation from an ND Voice committee. The virtual event toolkit and the project board were produced by NDI Agile working groups across the global network. By working together in this way, we're able to create new initiatives that advance us forward. Let's go forward together, as Reagan mentioned. Thank you again for everyone who has been working on these projects. It's also interesting to note that when you think about the podcast as well as the different virtual roundtables and events that we've hosted during the past semester, they all speak to the fact that we continue, even amidst the pandemic, to educate people, mind, body, and spirit. And that too is a hallmark of a Notre Dame education and something that we have a special connection to as part of our mission and vision. I'd now like to turn it over to Megan Knobloch. She will walk us through the work that the ISSA team has been doing and continues to do to support international students during the pandemic. Megan.
Hello, thank you, Michael. ISSA has been very busy the last few months supporting students in traveling home, organizing winter break engagement, and preparing for our spring arrivals. Myself, Ali, and Diane have joined the ISSA team during the pandemic to help support the students through our new challenges. While ISSA doesn't usually track students' winter break travel, the current environment has made this necessary. Of the more than 700 students who reported their winter break travel plans to us, half indicated that they would stay in the US, and 35% indicated that they would stay in the Notre Dame area specifically. So for these students who remain locally, we sent out flyers highlighting the many activities across the South Bend area that they can enjoy and have organized some winter programming on campus. Last week, we hosted a Christmas cookie pickup and Christmas card writing event, which 40 students attended and very much enjoyed. In the next 3 weeks, we also plan to host a Christmas movie in the Duncan Student Center, some virtual caroling, and virtual international holiday trivia. Of the 30% of students who indicated that they would definitely leave the US, NDI partnered with Student Services and the COVID response unit to coordinate the exit testing for those with strict testing timelines. This included the coordination for 32 Chinese students who were going home, which required both, both antigen and antibody testing. A shout out to Jamie for all of her work in collaborating with campus partners and advocating for our students in those spaces. In the coming 3 months, ISSA is also preparing for the arrival of our incoming students who could not join us on campus in August 2020. While 60 students deferred their program start dates in fall 2021, an additional 150 students hope to arrive for our spring semester. Some of these students already started their academic programs from their home countries, but their immigration records will not activate until they arrive on campus and register with us. We're also excited that nearly a third of those students expected for spring already have a visa, so that's very exciting. The university determined that if students could not physically get to campus for the spring, they could apply for academic provisions to enroll online. This is great news for the many students still impacted by travel restrictions or suspension of visa processing. I did want to thank our NDI colleagues for their continued support of our international students, both on campus and abroad. This has included organizing care packages, COVID test scheduling, assisting with the virtual VPE, providing specialized support documents, and organizing virtual engagement opportunities for students' social and academic well-being. It has truly been a global NDI effort to support our students, and the ISSA team is very grateful for all of you during this time. And now I want to introduce our next video where we learn about the new Senior Fellows Program. Following the video, we will get an update from Miranda on the Engage ND initiative. Enjoy.
The Senior Fellows are a group of 8 students who are seniors who live in residence halls on campus, and they represent Notre Dame International's interests to the student body. Primarily meant to be in residence hall with programming. They're meant to help promote study abroad, and they are meant to welcome our international students and help them feel more at home in a very different culture here on campus.
Hi, my name is Sophia, and I am a part of the Senior Fellows program for ND International.
My name is Cindy Manalo. I'm a senior. I'm a pre-professional science and Spanish supplementary major.
So the Senior Fellows Program is a program that promotes globalization and internationalization on campus. And part of that is just increasing awareness of the global initiatives at ND International, and I guess promoting students, encouraging students to take advantage of those resources and those programs.
And we all have various international experiences, and we're all just very passionate about internationalism and diversity, and just bringing different students together, whether that be students on campus or in this situation, students that are international and may not have had the opportunity to be on campus this semester.
It gives them an opportunity to learn more about various cultures, to promote study abroad, and to learn things that are in line with the university's mission and Notre Dame International's mission, which is respect for all peoples, or respect for all cultures. So it's a really great opportunity to engage with students on campus, abroad, and to learn more about the world.
Hi everyone, it's my pleasure to talk about the Engage ND initiative. which was launched in September to support about 100 international undergraduate students unable to return to campus this academic year and beyond. With the collaborative efforts from NDI colleagues all over the world, Engage ND connects these students with campus resources and Notre Dame Global Network. This fall, this initiative engaged the students through 5 large online community gatherings, 5 newsletters on virtual campus events and resources, 20 small group discussions on ND cultures, and 1 career development program. Today, I'd like to highlight some of our colleagues who have made significant contributions to this initiative. First, I want to recognize Jinyu and Reagan for their entrepreneurship in creating the BGG Professional Development and Ethics Program. The program helps students to get an early start on career preparation, discuss important topics such as inclusivity, ethics, and leadership, and access on-site or virtual internship opportunities in China. 24 students from China, Philippines, Brazil, South Korea, and Indonesia participated in the program. Second, I'd like to thank Judy for her innovation of the Bridges program and her leadership with the Senior Fellows. Judy and the Senior Fellows organized the bi-weekly small group discussions with first-year students and introduced to them the Notre Dame traditions and cultures. The Bridges program constantly engaged 26 first-year students through 20 small group meetings in total. Thirdly, I'd like to recognize Leah and Ali for their consistent efforts in sending bi-weekly newsletters to the students. Through these newsletters, students learned about the virtual events information on campus as opportunities to stay engaged. I would also like to thank Reagan and Diraj for organizing, hosting, and serving as speakers at the virtual community gatherings. These gatherings engaged over 150 attendees in total. Lastly, I'd like to thank Thais and Emily from São Paulo and Catherine from Hong Kong for promoting Engage ND among the students and contributing to the newsletters and gatherings. We hope to continue to engage this community next semester and in the future to continuously enhance international students' Notre Dame experience. And that concludes the special features section. Now on to the insider.
You'll notice thank you very much, Miranda. I appreciate that last segment that you hosted. You'll notice at the end of the milestones that we celebrated 10 years of service for Roy. Friday will be his last day at Notre Dame. There will be a virtual gathering on Thursday to celebrate him and his contributions to the university, to ISA, to NDI. We hope that you're able to make it, and we're only sorry that the pandemic doesn't allow us to gather together in person to recognize and salute him for all he's done. For those of you who may not have had the opportunity to work with Roy as closely as some of us here on campus, here are a couple of things that you might want to know. He has been particularly known for always having a kind word and a gentle tone, especially in encouraging those students or scholars who have been deeply distressed by either the pandemic or a challenging situation they faced in the immigration landscape that we find ourselves in. In the last 2 years, he's been primarily responsible for managing the experience of J1 exchange visitors with Diana Dixon in the Office for Postdoctoral Affairs. We asked Diana about Roy, and she said that she's appreciated that it doesn't matter how early or how late the many calls they have are, they always end up by laughing together. The postdocs have no idea how much time Roy has put into helping support them. Roy will be truly missed, she said. We couldn't agree with her more. We're so grateful for Roy's commitment to the success and well-being of our international community. Again, thank you, Roy. You will be missed. Please join me with your emoji of choice to celebrate and recognize Roy in this way. Now, we'll also move on to thank the quarter's recognize NDI nominees. So let's turn to that video now.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for
Hey everyone, I'd like to give a shout out of recognition and gratitude to Sarah Hyman. I know we've all been impacted by the pandemic in a variety of ways. For Sarah, she's been somewhat of a nomad since leaving Jerusalem last April, where she went from Jerusalem to Texas, Texas to Florida to spend time with family. And then she relocated here to South Bend, only to have to move 3 different times across short-term rentals. Not once did I hear her complain about this though. In fact, she did the opposite. She gave of herself by spending hundreds of hours helping to lead the daily care and concern call center, calling our students pastorally and compassionately like she always does. She did this too while staying still connected to her colleagues and to her work in Jerusalem. For all of this, for your easygoing attitude, for your selflessness, and for just being a wonderful colleague and team player, thanks, Sarah.
We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne.
Hi, I want to recognize Allie, Megan, Kay, and Diane for their excellent work as they joined the ISSA team last summer as adopted members of the team. They learned new systems, they sat through hours of government training, and they have diligently supported the international student community alongside the ISSA team. We are deeply grateful for your willingness to jump into new work and to work alongside us for the last 6 months, and just want to say thank you.
Dressed up like Eskimos, everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe.
Hi, I'd like to give a special shout out to Paula Warhatch. Paula is a wonderful colleague to work with. She's positive, encouraging, and very detail oriented. So she's a great person to have on your team. She continues to be the front lines of communications for Study Abroad. And not only does she do a lot for the Study Abroad team, but for the students as well. So thank you, Paula, for all the work that you do for us and continue to do. Your work does not go unnoticed.
He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on a sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really It's from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you.
So, not everybody gets to be in the spotlight and on the red carpet like me. There are people behind the scenes that contribute so much to the work that we do, and that's why I'm nominating Diane Maurer to be recognized by us. Diane, without you, I don't know what I would have done. So when I was in London, not that I'm bragging, for 5 years, that's when NDI decided to buy that terracotta software, and everybody was learning it, and I wasn't. So Diane was helping me learn it by email. And then like a month later, I would just forget everything. And I'd be like, Diane, how do you do this again? So she was always there. When I came back, she helped me learn the stuff I needed to learn that was online. Google this, Google that, Google Forms, Google blah, 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 Excel, blah, 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 whatever was computer oriented, because as I got older, I became less tech savvy. I know it's hard to believe. Anyways, I'm really grateful for the work that Diane puts in behind the scenes, and she's been a really quiet and helpful presence for our new initiative of the Senior Fellows for Internationalization too. So she always has time for me, and I don't know what I'd be doing without her. Thanks, Diane, and we'll see you at the movies.
When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Fire is slowly dying, my dear, we're still goodbye. As long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
I want to thank, first of all, Zoe for providing the wonderful vocals to our Recognize NDI segment. And I want to thank everyone who submitted recommendations that recognize our colleagues. This is an incredibly important part of the NDI culture, and I'm glad that we're responding in this way with these kinds of submissions. It is so critical now more than ever that we support one another and that we recognize and lift up the good work that inspires us to each keep bringing our best to the team for the greater good of Notre Dame. I also want to thank our Ops and Comms team for putting together and producing the global town halls. This continues to evolve and we refine it each time based on the feedback you give us, but I'm very grateful for the ways in which they're both creative and technical in providing us this forum. I have one more piece of recognition that I want to share. And it's important for us all to take a moment and really recognize and celebrate this work. Many members of our campus team have been involved in the university's critical efforts to fight COVID and respond to the COVID pandemic. Those include in the US, Sarah, Bridget, and Father Jim, who have all stepped up to be a part of the operations, whether they be testing or the COVID response unit on campus supporting our students. Those folks, Sarah, Bridget, and Father Jim, as you heard Angie talking about Sarah earlier, are all away from home or their previous home, and yet they're doing this work. On top of them, we've had a grand total of 16 people from NDI contribute over 2,100 hours to this effort. I want to say that again, 16 team members who have contributed over 2,100 hours to the effort of fighting COVID and supporting our students, faculty, and staff. That work has included contact tracing, care and concern outreach to our students, and operating the testing site both at the stadium and then as it moved to the Joyce Center. Please take this opportunity to acknowledge our colleagues both on campus and who have been around the world, who have been working to fight COVID. Finally, I want to end this town hall by saying a couple of other things. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy winter or summer solstice, wherever you might be in the world. I really hope that we can all unplug and do a digital detox and take the time to have a restful break. I hope that you're able to spend that time with family members, either physically in person or virtually. And I hope we take this time to care for ourselves over the break, to recharge and to connect and to renew ourselves in the spirit of this season. I look forward to seeing everyone in January. And in the meantime, please be well, be healthy, and be safe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays.
Ciao.
Buon Natale.
Bye.
Oh, felices Navidades.